Pittsburgh Steelers outside linebacker edge rusher TJ Watt wins MVP. Also, 4 Pittsburgh Steelers have been selected to the Pro Bowl. But first, before I get more into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, every single season, the Pittsburgh Steelers hand out team awards at the end of the season. And this year, TJ Watt wins MVP. And also, other players win some awards too. For example, before I get more into the TJ Watt one, let's look at Zach Frazier and Alex Highsmith. Because Zach Frazier, the rookie center, won the Joe Green Great Performance Award, while Alex Highsmith, he won the Chief Award. So, let's go over what the Joe Green Great Performance Award is that Zach Frazier won. So it was established in 1984, named after a legendary Hall of Famer, and presented each year to the Steelers' top rookie. Frazier is the only second Steelers center to win the award, joining Maurkice Pouncey, who won the award in 2010. And when you look at Zach Frazier, he was drafted by the Steelers in the second round of the 2024 NFL Draft, the 51st overall pick out of West Virginia. And Frazier, he was a staple in the Steelers' offense all season long. Ever since Nate Herbig went down with season-ending injury earlier on, Zach Frazier had to come in, take all the snaps, and perform his best because the Steelers really needed someone to step up at center after having bad center performances and seasons for the last however many years since Maurkice Pouncey retired. And winning the Steelers' top rookie award is a great first step in turning the next stone of finding and being the next great Pittsburgh Steelers offense lineman and Hall of Fame center. So, now let's move over to Alex Highsmith, because he also won an award before I get more into TJ Watt. So Alex Highsmith, like I said, he won the Chief Award. So what is the Chief Award? Well, when you look at the Chief Award, it is established in 1988 in honor of Steelers founder Arthur J. Rooney Sr. It is presented annually to a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization that best exemplifies the spirit of cooperation with the media and that he embodied. So, to be honest, looking at this, Alex Highsmith, he was voted on by the writers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this was voted on by the media itself of who gave the best cooperation in the media, basically talking to them and everything like that. So Alex Highsmith wins this award. And he is basically a guy who always speaks the truth most of the time. He's a guy who isn't hard-spoken. He's more soft-spoken, but when he talks, it means something. So that's why he wins this award, and he wins the award this season for the Pittsburgh Steelers after someone else won it last year. So, looking at the main one, then probably the reason why you clicked on this video, TJ Watt, he wins MVP, Pittsburgh Steelers team MVP. And this is for a team record 5th time. So it shows why he's one of the best players in the National Football League. He wins League Defensive Player of the Year, he wins team MVP, and he's just the best player in the entire NFL, really. But when you look at this award means more because it's voted on by your teammates. The teammates of TJ Watt voted him team MVP, becoming the first player in team history to win the award 5 times. He won it 2019 to 2021, and then 2023 to 2024. And that says a lot when the team votes it for you, because it could be voted for by the coaches, it could be voted by other people in the media, but when your team, your teammates, the people you're around all the time, your brotherhood, when they vote it for you, it means even more. So, TJ Watt, he's been the glue to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense this season and holding them together. Starting all 16 games, he has 61 tackles, 40 solo stops, he has 11.5 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, 27 quarterback hits, 6 forced fumbles, 4 pass defense, 3 strip sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. So he's the only player in the NFL that ranks among the top 6 in the league in strip sacks, which is first, forced fumbles, which is first, quarterback hits 5th, fumble recoveries tied for 6th, and sacks tied for 4th, and tackles for loss 2nd in this season. So it shows why he's not only the team MVP, but he's the top candidate for Defensive Player of the Year as well. So this season, TJ Watt, he was the second fastest player to reach 100 career sacks that happened this year. So he's continuing to reach milestones in his later seasons, but he's still going. Even though it's been a few years since the draft and everything like that, almost 10 years, 10 plus years later, he's still going and he's still reaching new milestones, and it shows why he's still capable of putting up big performances and winning Steelers games sometimes just by himself. So the team recognizes that, the players recognize that, and he wins team MVP. So looking at TJ Watt, does he deserve team MVP? 100%. Who else on the offense, who else on the defense would deserve it? The only other player I would think of would be Cameron Heyward, because Cameron Heyward has had his arguably best season of his career this late in his career at 35 years old. So he would be the only other player. But in my eyes, TJ Watt has single-handedly won Steelers some games with some forced fumbles and things like that. So TJ Watt definitely deserves it. And when looking at TJ Watt, he's a top candidate right now and top of the odds to win Defense Player of the Year. So he's getting recognized by his team, but he's also maybe going to get recognized by the league here shortly. Who else deserves Defense Player of the Year? You could look at Patrick Surtain, but when you look at him versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, George Pickens absolutely cooked him. I believe Patrick Surtain doesn't really deserve Defense Player of the Year. I believe that TJ Watt, does he deserve it in this year compared to last year? Probably not. If you just look at his stats compared from this season to last season, last year TJ Watt deserved it. But this year, TJ Watt, you could argue that he doesn't because it kind of dropped off his numbers. But if Myles Garrett got a sympathy Defense Player of the Year award last year over TJ Watt, I'm sure TJ Watt could get one, and we can't argue it. Anyway, TJ Watt wins team MVP, and that's all that matters. That talk about Defense Player of the Year could be for a different video. So let's move over to the second topic of this video, the Pro Bowl games, the Pro Bowl in general. Who got voted in to the Pro Bowl? So 4 Pittsburgh Steelers will be in the Pro Bowl, and it is TJ Watt, Cameron Heyward, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Chris Boswell. And to be honest, at least 3 of those 4 players deserve it. When looking at the top outside linebacker, it's TJ Watt in the AFC, so he deserves it 100%. When looking at the best defensive lineman, maybe in the entire NFL, but especially in the AFC, it's Cameron Heyward, so he 100% deserves it. When looking at the best kicker in the AFC, and arguably the entire NFL, other than maybe Aubrey, it is Chris Boswell, so he 100% deserves it. And then looking at the top safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick has been a top safety for most of his career, so you can see why fans voted him in. This season, it's a little bit different, I believe. I don't believe he is the best safety or one of the best safeties in the NFL, but he still gets in because he's a top name. So those 4 players get in for the Pro Bowl games and the Pro Bowl in general. And it's just another thing to each of those guys' resume. And it's getting good because the Steelers are being recognized with players going to the Pro Bowl. In past seasons, when we looked at the Big Ben AB era, there's arguably every single player on the Steelers offense would get in, from Marquise Pouncey, Villanueva, David DeCastro. Every single player would get in because the team was doing so good. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are back to the top of the kind of conference, and 4 players get in to the Pro Bowl. So it's a good thing because last year some players didn't get in, but this year they do. So the Steelers, they're top of the AFC. They are looking to fight for a top spot in the AFC North. They're trying to win the division this week. If not, then they'll be in the wild card. So they're at least headed to the playoffs, and their team players get rewarded for making the playoffs with these 4 players going to the Pro Bowl. But also, those guys did it themselves. It's not really the team who kind of made these guys get in. It's these players being the best at their position and the best players and winning games for the team. For example, Chris Boswell doesn't get in every single year. Sometimes that's Justin Tucker, sometimes that's Harrison Buckner, whatever. But Chris Boswell has won Pittsburgh Steelers some games this year, just by himself, kicking all field goals to win the game, just kicking game-winning field goals, everything like that. Cameron Heyward making this leap towards the end of his career in his 35-year-old plus seasons, being a top player as a defensive lineman is hard, but he's able to do it. So he's pushing himself further and shows why he's making the Pro Bowl. And he's 8+ sacks. He's doing a great job. TJ Watt, 11.5 sacks. So he's doing a great job as well. Minkah Fitzpatrick in that 1 interception, being kind of the blanket on the Steelers' back end. So all these players deserve it and have shown why in past years, but this year specifically as well, pushing the Steelers towards the playoffs. Anyway, that's the end of this video. That's kind of what I wanted to go over, the team MVP, the team awards for this season, but also the Pro Bowl. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who do you believe deserved to win each award? Do you believe the right guy was chosen? And do you believe someone was kind of missed out on the Pro Bowl that the Steelers should have had in there? Also, how do you just feel in general about who won each one? So that's the end of this video, but make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports, everything surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers I covered. I'll continue to cover as we head into the playoffs here shortly, but even after that, when the season ends, all off season as well. Back to the regular season, I cover everything. So stay tuned to the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.